Chernihiv is an ancient Ukrainian city with long-standing and glorious traditions. The Chernihiv radio appliances factory, or its shortened name CheZaRa, is considered to be by right a certain symbol of the city. The factory is well known in both Ukraine and outside it.
Сегодня и руководство CheZaRa, и служба маркетинга.
Everything is being done by both the CheZaRa administration and its marketing department for the factory production items be asked for the production be increased, for the enterprise to create the new working places and solve the problems and issues facing the town and the region in time. We strive for better working and earning more. That is why our being not satisfied enough with our working results urges us on from inside to increase the volume of production each year. The special purpose radio appliances production, that is what the factory CheZaRa was projected and constructed for more than 30 years ago. The huge intellectual and financial expenditures were required from the Soviet Union in its pursuit of world leadership. That is why the whole chain of enterprises were set up in the country. Those enterprises were working just to meet the demands of the space exploration conducted by the ex-Soviet Union. CheZaRa was one of those enterprises. On Ukraine's gaining independence, the Chernihiv factory found itself in predicament, as well as other enterprises working on the same branch. However, in spite of all hardships, it didn't fail to remain one of the biggest local producers of the rocket and space equipment. An active part is taken by CheZaRa in such well-known international space projects as Global Star and CStart. The enterprise works according to the programs guided directly by the National Space Agency of Ukraine. A radio appliances factory that is included into CheZaRa deals with rocket and space equipment production for Dnepropetrovsk Production Society, Pivdenmarsh. These are telemetric systems and transformers. The rocket motor monitoring systems are obtained by the Russian Energy Corporation from Chernihiv producers to monitor spaceships onto the orbit. The navigation complex metering systems for Sputniks are delivered by CheZaRa for the Omsky Polot factory. Those systems enable one to even trace an individual person's whereabouts from the space at whatever place on the Earth. It is worth speaking about the steady increase in diversification of the equipment production items produced by the Southern Machine Building Factory, and for which we also supply our equipment, provided the startings are problem-free, positive and successful. CheZaRa exists not only at the expense of the space projects. The enterprise administration decided to seek for other forms of activities in the conditions of the market economy.
We know
that the future is not only after special purpose equipment production. That is why we have undertaken other forms of activities since our country's social order transformation. Such forms of activities are first of all communications, connection equipment, medical appliances and consumer goods. The civil goods production has been successfully started by the radio equipment factory, apart from designing and manufacturing radio equipment for the rocket and space engineering. The factory has organized production of high-quality and reliable electro-connection equipment for the city telephone stations in a short time, thanks to the rich experience of the personnel accumulated on designing special-purpose equipment. Nowadays, the radio equipment factory is considered to be the leading inland producer of the connection systems. The high quality and volume of production give all reasons to state it.
новые поколения.
Nowadays, us, new generation people, produce connection equipment. We have already had business discussions, and we are going to take documentation in Russia to produce the whole complex of new generation condensation equipment. These are both TC30 and multiplexer for 120 and 480 channels. We are trying to solve all the problems, not to depend on rocket and space complex. CheZaRa has been closely cooperating with another well-known producer in Ukraine, the Chernihiv Science and Production iTech enterprise, over the past 9 years. The way to determine the formula of this long-standing friendly cooperation could be like this. iTech is the generator of ideas in the sphere of modern information technologies. CheZaRa is the one to have a powerful production potential that turns these theoretical projects into reality.
Мы их сначала научили торговать нашей аппаратурой.
First, we taught them to sell our connection equipment, and when they began to possess money, they understood that the servicing equipment could be produced on the background of our equipment. They started to design it, and we started to produce it. Thanks to such a cooperation, they obtained stability.
Это производитель, который понимает эти разработки.
This is a producer to understand these projects. They are made to really be produced. They take their specifics, its technologies and its development into account. We have practically integrated with CheZaRa, and we are next to be inseparable. One of the joint projects of CheZaRa and iTech has become creation of technology of high-speed digital access to Internet network. The access obtained the name of Series 128. The equipment is going to enable Ukraine to effectuate a Ukrainian breakthrough in the matter of Internet expansion. 33 kilobytes a second are considered to be a traditional speed to enter Internet. The speed accelerates up to 128 kilobytes a second thanks to Sirius. Both modem, telephone and fax can operate in this speed. Unfortunately, there is a stereotype. If it is a global network, there must be an equipment produced by the world market leaders. However, the equipment like this is 3 times as expensive as a usual one. On the other hand, the equipment doesn't often correspond to the infrastructure of some countries due to a specific character of their telephone systems. The Sirius is adjusted to such specific conditions. The Sirius successfully cooperates with all the types of analog automatic telephone stations and copper-made network.
Мы в последнее время
Our activities trend of today is not only to manufacture our production items reliable. The special purpose equipment production has taught us to keep high standards. Our policy is also to make the equipment accessible to our customer, that is not only reliable, but also price-worthy. The Sirius equipment is the pattern to follow for us here. The Rapid Factory is one of the biggest structural subdivisions of CheZaRa, and it specializes on metering and transformation equipment.
Наши датчики на сегодняшний момент.
Our metering systems nowadays can compete at least with analogical American ones. The only minus here is their cost. They are 10 times cheaper than the American ones. CheZaRa and the Dutch company Lucent Technologies set up a joint venture in 1996 that deals with the extension of telecommunication equipment on the territory of Ukraine. These are big stations that ensure intercity and international communications. Ukrtelecom, Utel and private operators, the Kharkiv Velton and Dnepropetrovsky Optima, are among the customers. $10 million have been invested into the development of the joint venture by Lucent Technologies. That sum consisted both in money and equipment. Responsibility and skill was required in exchange from Chernihiv people. Ukrainians were trusted, and they didn't fail expectations. CheZaRa started to get dividends after already 5 years of operation.
Мы продолжаем поставку оборудования.
We supply equipment on the territory of Ukraine, its assembly, guaranteeing its operation readiness, warranty and post-warranty reparation, and training customers' workers. We have special training center for this purpose. Medical equipment production is one of the perspective development direction of the CheZaRa. There is a special construction department of Neobit factory that deals with designing the so-called non-standard medical equipment.
Наш рынок – это медицинский.
Our market is a medical equipment. These are tables and armchairs. We are going to design the medical boards. We are the only producers of this kind of furniture in Ukraine. There is no such factory so far to produce such an equipment. This is the first production trend. Secondly, we have a very powerful Milcog operation area. Apart from Neobit, CheZaRa has just another branch production that is specialized on medical equipment. This is the factory to produce medical products and preparations.
Мы делаем иглы инъекционные однократно применения.
We produce the single-use injection needles of sterile and non-sterile variants 06 to 25. We also produce insuline needles. We have started to produce multiple-use needles. CheZaRa considers diversified cooperation with foreign countries to be very important. This is both participation in specialized foreign expositions and fulfillment of foreign customers' orders. For example, baskets for microwave ovens, metal plates and dishes, and jewelry production equipment are produced here. The annual production items supplied to the USA has grown up to $1 million.
Хочется все время работать лучше.
Everything achieved nowadays is the result of our collective's joint working. I believe this is the only working enterprise of such a level in the Ukraine. Well, the CheZaRa of today is not only manufacturing the products for special purposes. CheZaRa looks positive into future to have a chain of enterprises that produce all kinds of equipment, from the complex equipment for space exploration up to injection needles. In spite of all difficulties of the transition period, CheZaRa enjoys more stability thanks to the correct strategy of administration than ex-giants of the USSR that failed to adjust to harsh conditions of the market economy.
Мы победим все равно, потому что
We will win because we are more flexible than those big monsters. They can spend millions for mechanization and changing the technology's construction, but we are sure to be ahead just the same. We are simpler to be reconstructed than the big monsters. Multi-purpose activities of the Chernigiv company is the pattern to follow of how the job is to be done. The thing is not to focus on problems only and complain about difficulties, but to seek for all possible ways to make business profitable. The hardest time is behind us.